Dear board members and representatives of Grapevine Property Services, please ensure the statement is read aloud at the upcoming board meeting in November 2024. This letter serves as an official notification of several serious concerns regarding your handling of Osborne Park's legal and financial matters. The following points detail specific actions and inactions that have come to light. Misuse of Osborne Park funds in lawsuit. The lawsuit, titled Osborne Park versus Guidry et al., involved Elaine Johnson as the plaintiff, suing Gerald Guidry and others personally, despite knowing that you had not been hired by a legal board. You, alongside Gerald Guidry, used Osborne Park funds to pay for Guidry's personal defense and legal representation. Additionally, you facilitated the inclusion of Lena Cachet in the lawsuit. Solely driven by Guidry's personal vendetta, Cachet sought her own dismissal, and you have allowed the billing of Osborne Park for these unjustified actions. Furthermore, you have refused to compensate Ms. Cachet for the work she performed in her dismissal. Violation of owner rights. Gerald Guidry and his associates took away Lena Cachet's voting rights and effectively stripped her of her ownership rights. You, Grapevine Property Services, along with Craig Combs, who is an attorney in San Diego, failed to intervene or correct this violation. Moreover, it was discovered that Gregory, Garrett, and Gerald Guidry, I should stop and explain, they were fake board members. They were never elected. They just took over the park. Gregory, Garrett, and Gerald Guidry were in direct communication with a non-owner, James Piffalo, in an attempt to influence his vote and to run for the board. This violates Osborne Park's bylaws and Davis Sterling law because you, Gerald Guidry, Gregory, Garrett, and Craig Combs, again that attorney, have stripped Cachet of all rights as a homeowner and have pulled a non-owner and non-resident back into Osborne Park affairs and elections. James Piffalo needs to be billed for all past, current, and future dues. You were notified of this, and you still refuse to bill Mr. Piffalo as required. Unauthorized use of Osborne Park utilities. Video evidence was provided showing that Gerald Guidry's RV was plugged into Osborne Park's electricity during May, June, July, and August of 2024. Additionally, an electrician had to repair a blown park fuse caused by Guidry's RV, despite being advised that Guidry should be held financially responsible for the electricity consumption and repair costs. You have failed to take any action. So his RV was plugged into park utilities. It's supposed to have been in storage. It's not supposed to be plugged in for months using park utilities, and it was. Verbal abuse toward residents. You have received video evidence of Gerald Guidry verbally abusing residents, using derogatory language, including calling residents a fucking cunt, yet you have allowed this kind of verbal abuse to persist without consequence, further contributing to a toxic environment for homeowners. And that video of him doing that is on Facebook and TikTok and something else, I think, another social media outlet. Number 5, false wellness checks and impact on Osborne Park's reputation. A criminal complaint was filed against Gerald Guidry detailing evidence that he made false wellness checks on Lena Cachet to the San Diego County Sheriff. You saw this criminal complaint. As a result, Osborne Park has now been flagged for all future wellness checks. This is a direct consequence of Guidry's actions, which you failed to address. Failure to represent a legal board. Previous to August 2024, numerous residents and owners informed you that you were not hired by a legal board. You did not vet Gerald Guidry, Gregory, Garrett, and Bill Bouma to ensure that they were acting in accordance to Osborne Park Inc. bylaws and Davis Sterling law. You neglected your responsibilities and took advantage of vulnerable, elderly, and low-income residents. You then facilitated the continuation of power for Guidry and his associations and have perpetuated a divisive and hateful regime. You denied Lena Cachet her legal right to vote or run for the board and allowed Osborne Park funds to be misused to sustain a board that was not legal for 2 years. Additionally, Craig Holmes' manipulation of the lawsuit, switching himself to plaintiff when Elaine Johnson was originally designated as plaintiff, raises further questions. This deceitful maneuver was clearly intended to enable Combs to access and control Osborne Park funds. Despite Combs falsely claiming to be plaintiff Osborne Park, he is representing the personal interests of Gerald Guidry. He is not representing Osborne Park, but only taking their money. This is evident by taking Osborne Park funds to pull Cachet into a lawsuit because Guidry said so, when Cachet had nothing to do with anything. This, again, is all evident by the fact that Cachet was granted her dismissal. Combs took many thousands of dollars, again, that's the attorney, from Osborne Park for his misconduct and to support Guidry's hate-filled regime. Conclusion. You have been notified of all the above and more, and you have received video evidence and official documents to support everything that has been stated herein. Your actions and your continued inaction in the face of these abuses are unacceptable. You have failed to protect the legal rights of homeowners, misused funds, and perpetuated a toxic and unlawful environment within Osborne Park. Your complicity in these actions should be a matter of serious concern, and you should be held accountable for your involvement. The residents of Osborne Park deserve better, and it is time for those responsible to answer for these failures. Again, this was to Grapevine Property Services. It was sent to them yesterday, November the 11th, 2024. I mean, it was also to Osborne Park or the board. So this is official notification. Grapevine Property Service is acting as our property management company for Osborne Park. It is an association, a co-op. It is not an official HOA. And at first, for 2 years, they were acting unlawfully. They were not hired by a lawful board consisting of Gerald Guidry, Gregory, Garrett, and Wilton Bouma. They were never elected to the board. They violated Davis Sterling law and Osborne Park bylaws, refused to have elections. They took over, the three of them, and then the three of them hired Grapevine Property Services. They never, Grapevine, I'm talking about now, never vetted to ensure that they were hired by a legal board, but everybody told them. I mean, everybody here that was conscientious enough to tell them. Other people didn't care. This is a senior park. The average age is about 76. It is low income. These people like Grapevine Property Services and property management companies before them take advantage of the elderly and low income. Furthermore, the elderly in this park we're not talking elderly 60, 65, 70. We're talking 76 to about 93 in this park, and it is vulnerable to predators who take advantage of these poor people that are very elderly, and they hide in their homes. Many are sickly, many are disabled, and you could pretty much do what you want here, and they know it. People are too poor to file lawsuits. They're too poor to get attorneys. And so Grapevine Property Services, they are the ones who hired Craig Holmes out of San Diego to sue everybody. So they're pretty much taking a big chunk of Osborne Park Inc. money, Grapevine Property Services and Craig Holmes, to go after the innocent, take away voting rights and people that might threaten them. So there are going to be more future lawsuits filed. They don't know where it's coming from, but it's coming.